Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's going to get hostile. What's going on? All you Friday nutmeggers and scallywags, what you got planned for the weekend? What y'all going to be doing? While Roland is unpacking, I'll be packing. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. And how do I put this? I don't like it when I'm in a bickering mood, but I kind of am in one. But I'll deal with that later. I'm in this mood, and I think this week has been kind of emblematic of the way in which I rule the world and why I do things the way I do them. And this, again, always comes off as arrogant. I don't mean to, but it just does. Can I give some unsolicited advice to people who give unsolicited advice? I'm really serious about this. Never, ever give advice you don't take. That's one. It's the first thing. I say it all the time, right? I tell people all the time, I never ask anyone to do something I won't do myself. But there are a lot of people who always give unsolicited advice they never take themselves. Never. And these people are selfish because they're not trying to give you advice. This is about control. This is about selfishness and control. And you have to think about that before you give that advice. Why are you giving that person advice? Is it because you don't like their behavior and you want them to change it because it benefits you? Then don't give the advice. Because there's nothing honest about it. Just isn't. It is there in service of you. That's all. And I'm trying to get, that's why I never take advice from you. I look at people and it was like, when they say the words, you should, I've stopped. I go, I should. Are you listening to what you're saying? When you're telling somebody what they should do, you should have. And this advice comes from what experience? And when I usually give unsolicited advice, I explain how that sort of affected me. Why learning from said experience, in other words, as a tool. Here's why I'm giving the unsolicited advice. Because I did this, that, and the third. It was something I learned from. And then I can express to you why I'm giving you the advice. Because of an experience that I had. So it's a teaching tool when you give that advice. For a lot of my career, I'll never forget it, a certain individual used to say to me, you ain't never going to do nothing because you won't do this, that, and the third. And I'll go, you mean you want me to do the thing that you would never do? You want me to concede, and you want me to do this, that, and you would never do any of those things? Well, I don't need to do them. I love those people. So, a little unsolicited advice to people who give unsolicited advice. If it isn't something that you've done yourself or have an experience with and have been successful with said advice, do not give it. Otherwise, it's just self-serving control. And your life is better. One, you recognize yourself. You recognize your own little issue, right? And then you don't give people bad advice. Do you understand that? it's bad advice if it's only self-serving to you. It's horrible advice. We'll talk about that a little later. I'll explain what all of that is about later on in the program. We've got a guest today. We've got Larissa Dali, actress Larissa Dali, producer Larissa Dali on the program today. We'll talk to her about her career, what she's doing lately. I really want to talk to her about her work with Tyler Perry. I've got to ask. She'll join the program at roughly about 4:05. Rozan will be here, actually. She's going to sort of tag team with me as we talk to Larissa Dali about her career. Stay tuned for that. I thought about whether or not I do an opening monologue today because it's Friday, and I usually don't. I try to keep it lighthearted. But we've got a big rally happening this weekend. And I was watching the debate with Zoran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa. Raspberry Beret, as I like to call him. Lately, he's not been seen with the Raspberry Beret. Not exactly sure why. If he's got a consultant, you're late. You should have told him to take that thing off a long time ago. But nonetheless, he took it off. And he was on Fox News this morning. He wasn't wearing it either. Last night, he didn't wear it during the debate. And I thought about sound bites. What can I do? Sound bites. It seems lazy at this point. I love sound bites just like anyone else, but I'm trying to convey a fact. I like using their own words against them. But I don't want to do that in this case. But I do want to talk about something I had been thinking about this morning, all this morning after the debate last night. And I listened to John Kennedy, the Louisiana senator, saying that Zoran Mamdani seems like he was made in a Republican lab, like he was a Republican plant, because you couldn't ask for a better candidate in New York City than Zoran. And I think the senator's right. And I thought about it this morning. I think I found a silver lining to Zoran Mamdani's win in New York for Connecticut, just for Connecticut. Maybe some other states, but I only care about Connecticut. But folks, I think we need to stop resisting the idea of a Zoran Mamdani candidacy. I think if Connecticut is going to realize the errors in its ways, Zoran Mamdani must win. Can I break it down for you? It's real simple. We had Josh Elliott on the program. You might remember a couple of months back, we had someone from the Communist Party of America on the program. What's his name, Brad something? Yeah, we had him on the program. And this is a growing group of people. As we also know that in the No Kings protest tomorrow, in some 40 cities or 40 places around the state, it is sponsored by the Democratic Socialists of America, New York Working Families Party, CP, Communist Party USA, and the Freedom Socialist Party. They're all sponsors of this event, No Kings, happening on Saturday. It has become normalized to be a socialist now in the Democrat Party, and they have strength in their numbers. The Democrats have literally bowed to the socialists, the thing that they've been telling us that they could never be, would never be, ever. But here they are. And Zoran Mamdani is going to be in charge of the number one city in the country, the capital of the world, New York. And if he wins, Democrat socialists across the fruited plain will get a jetpack and a battery pack on their back, and they will come out of the woodworks. It'll be like a Night of the Living Dead movie. They'll all be coming from the grave, crawling out, screaming for more and more socialism. And candidates will believe they will win everywhere. Josh Elliott, he'll have momentum. You wouldn't believe. You heard when I asked him, hey, are you just waiting? Are you just waiting until Zoran wins in November? And then if he wins, then you'll actually start maybe bringing him around to campaign with you? He said, well, we're a little ahead of that right now, but of course he is. Zoran Mamdani will give everybody permission to say that they are socialists. They will see this as a winning message. And the people who will be affected the most will be the wealthy or the working wealthy that are in the state of Connecticut. And Connecticut will have to make a choice who they side with. Sure, there's a lot of wealthy leftists in the state. Of course they are. They fund this nonsense. They do whatever they can to donate to a bunch of these socialists. But they know that it's the end of them. They know that deep down they are the enemy. Did you watch that undercover video of one of Zoran Mamdani's campaign folks at dinner talking about the wealthy and talking about the rich, talking about how they are useless to them other than for their money, how they're going to go after the wealthy, how they are the enemy of what Zoran Mamdani is trying to do, and they will pay the hefty price? They will pay out of pocket, and they will go nowhere. And if they're made to go anywhere, they will be maligned. They will be called racist and anything and everything under the book. If they do not come to heel, you will come around, they say. And Connecticut is sitting idly by, rubbing their mitts, going, yes, Mamdani, please win. We can finally turn Connecticut into the state we've always wanted it to be. A socialist utopia, and we could get those millionaires and billionaires all through the state, and we can fleece every dollar we can from them. You thought Ned Lamont was bad. You thought Chris Murphy was bad. You thought John Larson was bad. You thought Dick Blumenthal was bad. You'll be begging for a two-party state in no time. That's why I'm telling you it's a great idea for him to win. You see, while every other politician is known to be measured, every other political group is known to worry about the polling data, concerned with whether or not this language or that language fits. Not the socialists. It's their way or the highway. It is in their mantra to lie. It is in their charter to demonize. And Connecticut will see that every day. When they start saying, trust me, by the way, I want to make this very, very clear. There are writers now, I think it's David Haar, and I can't remember who the other writer is, but they are now writing articles talking about, hey, you know what, Zoran Mamdani might be good for Connecticut because those businesses, they'll just leave New York and they'll just come up here. Really? Really? Wait until you see these protests. Ask yourself whether or not the socialists of Connecticut, whom you're going to see in 40 different towns, whether or not businesses are going to feel safe. Remember, they watch the news too. And when Zoran Mamdani wins, they're going to be going, where do we go? Where do we go? Hey, let's go to Connecticut. No, man, did you see the protests up there? They want more of Mamdani up there. I'm not going up there. If those socialists, if those radicals, if those communists has their ways, we're just moving from one den of craziness to another. We got to get the hell out of here. We got to get west. We got to get south. We can't go north. What do you think? I'm going to go to Connecticut and deal with horrible traffic and socialism? No. Connecticut will lose. And all of these folks that are standing around saying nothing, doing nothing, refuse to push back on it. I'm not talking about Republicans here. I'm talking about Democrats who were saying nothing, going along to get along, screaming at ICE, waving their fist at Donald Trump. Donald Trump, you're authoritarian. Your party's being taken over, dummy. Your party's being taken over by people who are far more radical than you. We thought you were nuts, that you were screaming for the rapist, that you were screaming for the drug traffickers. We thought all that was crazy. But you know what's even crazier is that you've got your eyes off the ball. Because while you're doing these communist bidding, they're taking over. They don't like you either because you're not communist enough. You're not socialist enough. You're moderates. You might as well be Republicans in their book. And don't forget, you're also old. That's a sin in their book, too. They hate the elderly. So you're out the door. Ask Bronin. How much fundraising has he been able to come up with in the last year versus John Larson? I'd say a good $400,000 more for Luke Bronin. John, what's going on with that campaign, buddy? You're old. You're outdated. You're shouting at the moon. This is the SS. Have some more Jell-O, John. It's over for you. It's over for Ned Lamont, too. Mamdani's win says everything about the Democrat Party in Connecticut. They are all sitting by. Don't believe me? Go watch Ned Lamont in the last Bloomberg interviews he's done. He's just as scared and just as nervous. He knows it's coming. He knows the modern-day Democrat Party is over. You thought they were left of John F. Kennedy? You thought the rank-and-file Democrat Party was left of John F. Kennedy? The new boss is far worse. Lamont knows. I rag on Oakley Dokley all the time, but he knows the writing is on the wall. These folks know nothing about finances. They know nothing about the socialism that they preach. They don't even care that it's never worked. The only thing they want is socialism, but they want it done under their rule. And under their rule, it'll finally work. But guess what, folks? Every socialist from the dawn of time thought that their way was actually going to work. That's the arrogance. That's the hubris. And Lamont knows it. So does Larson. So does Blumenthal. Hey, why did Chris Murphy endorse Larson and not the new guy? Everybody knows the party is over. It's the reason why Chris Murphy is screaming to the world, it's Donald Trump! Because he can't attack the far left. Republicans don't want to touch him because they don't even know he's there. But if he starts screaming at the far left, everybody will know Chris Murphy's name. He'll be a Steven Seagal movie before you know it. Those of you who know what I'm talking about know exactly what movie I mean. We'll take a break. We'll come back. If you disagree, tell me. Do you think Mamdani will be good for Connecticut? I think so. 860-522-WTIC. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
I'm trying to figure out why I'm looking at my eyes on the camera. It's like I look like I just woke up. I've been up for hours. It's like that tired look. It's been a long week. That much I will give it. So anyway, I was saying in the last break, because I know a lot of you don't join in the beginning of the program, is that I see Mamdani as a net benefit for Connecticut. I do believe that. There have been a lot of folks that have said, Reese, where's the country going? And if I may, I'm just going to go in this route personally. Maybe, and I think some of you are. If I'm looking in the chat room, I'm almost certain Lori, research extraordinaire for Reese on the radio, underpaid, I might add, will agree with what I'm about to say. I believe in life, in order for us to recognize its value, we must deal with turmoil and tumult. when I was very young, I remember this debate with a friend or a sibling. I'm not certain which one. I have a feeling it was with my older sister, Christina. I'm almost certain if it was with her. But I was very young. I want to say maybe about 14. And I wasn't profound. I don't think that I was so brilliant in this, but I was always one of these people that sort of thought. I was very thoughtful in the sense of, like, I always wanted to understand the meaning of life. Why was I poor? Why did I get brought into this? Why am I living inside this body? Right? Why am I the only person who can't see their nose unless I'm looking in a mirror? Like, that kind of weirdness. Like, what? How did God choose this for me, that I'm in this body, that I'm having this exclusive experience as a human? I was like that ever since I was 10. Just truthful. Not that I was some prophet. I think everybody kind of asked that question. I don't know a person who hasn't. But anyway, in that discussion with my sister, as anyone does, ask the question, why does God allow this or that to happen? Everyone. I know grown folks in their 50s and 60s who ask that question, especially when it comes to religion or the belief in God and why they're an atheist and things like that. Even the boy says that. You know, if God exists, why would he this, that, and the third? I'm just going, even as a child, I said, would we know what good was if there were no evil? Like, how would we know? I always feel in life there must be, if there's no, rationale must have a counterpoint in order for it to be rational. I think that's the way it works. It's sort of like saying, you know, rain versus sunshine. Sure, it'd probably be great if we just had sunshine all the time. But could we appreciate it if that was all we had as human beings? I know that, and I've heard this over and over again, it is innate in us as human beings to despise mediocrity, no matter who you are, no matter where you live. That the doldrums of every day doing the same thing over and over again tend to just bother us. This is the reason why we look at hobbies and ideas in some way to interest us in some way, because we wish not to be bored. We're looking for something to distract us. Isn't that always the case? Everything needs a contrast. And I'm not certain if people understand that, but truth is, Rozan Mamdani has to happen. Because a lot of people in society think that this is the way that it's going to be all the time. That there's nothing worth fighting for. There are some people who will sit around and just go, why can't we leave well enough alone? We can never leave anything alone. That's not who we are. I look at guys like Rozan Mamdani. I look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I look at Bernie Sanders. I look at the groups like the Democratic Socialists of America, New York Working Families Party, the Communist Party USA, Freedom Socialist Party. I look at all of them and people go, where do they come from? I have to tell you the truth, folks. They've always been here. This is a human trait. There are good, there are bad, there are people who think they're doing good, even when their intentions are bad. People who believe that they are doing good things. People can rationalize with the things that they are doing. They can come up with their own excuses. In all walks of life, they all have a tendency to, they can even communicate to themselves that what they're doing is for the, even if it's for the good of themselves, they can rationalize that. even if it harms other people. There are folks who can talk themselves into the rationale, even when there is none. And that is human nature. There are people like you, and there are people like them. Who's the doctor that always calls here? He always likes to say, it's like, it's not good to call people evil. And I contest that to some degree. I know what he means. He's saying that we can't call them evil for the sake of calling them evil. But what do we call them when they are? That's my question. I get the hesitation. I think that we should all be cautious about whom we call evil, but that doesn't mean that we don't call them evil when they are. Because some things are evil. Some things have an intent to be evil. It's not just about being provocative. Sometimes it is to be evil. And some people think that evil can be good or for the betterment, because some people say that there's a level of evil. Yeah, I'm evil for saying it, but he's evil for being. So my evil doesn't measure up to his evil. So mine is a rational evil to undo a greater evil. Sometimes you got to get in the dirt with the bad guys so that you can expel the bad guy, which in essence is just saying sometimes you got to be evil to deal with evil. And then at the end of it all, just say, yes, I know I was evil for what I did, but he was worse. So justify my evil doing. Look, we've seen it all over the place. We've seen people actually murder people for doing heinous things. And then people applauding it. Yay! He was really, really evil. It was right for you to take his life. I've seen you do it. I've seen you even rationalize your own. But if they would ever do that to my such and such, I would murder that person, you'd say. And then claim righteousness. There are people like that. That is a human trait. This isn't about where did they come from? How did we get here? You know the scary part is that today, folks, if you really think about it, it ain't as bad as it used to be. We used to live in a world where people would just indiscriminately murder another person just for the sheer fun of it. Murder a person, murder groups of people to take their land. Murder people because they were heretics, because they didn't believe in the same, God or belief system. There was no way that they could protect themselves if people burned at the stake even for whatever trumped up charge there was. Sure enough, it was far worse. Civilization used to be a brutal place. Today is far more civilized. But the mindset persists. Again, all of these things are human. When I hear people use humanity, do it for humanity, I always say, do you really understand what that means? You're under the impression that the term humanity means only good. No. Humans are bad too. I'm not suggesting, I guess I am. Let me just say it outright. Folks, in some ways we need evil. I'm sorry. We just do. Because if it's all good, how would we know it was? We have to have something to believe in. We have to have something to fight for. We have to have something to sustain. And some people choose the other side. Some people choose the side that is selfish, that is self-gratifying, so that they can have these ridiculous freedoms that they think that only they should have, and others, the hell with them. There are many people out there who tell you what you should do and how you should live as it adheres to them. Yesterday with my phone call with Ben. Ben believes because he thinks reparations should be out there, because he believes morally it should be done, that the rest of us should adhere. In fact, he looks at my response to that as wacky and crazy. What do you mean you don't agree with me? You don't think that they should? I spoke to Justin Elliker when I said That boy who took his car and tried to run over police with it did not deserve to have a street named after him. You think that he should have been shot by police officers in the car? My response was yes. He tried to murder people. How were they supposed to stop? Were they supposed to reason with him when he chose not to? What were they supposed to do? They could not protect themselves? Should they just wait until he ran out of ideas? Or wait until he got tired of running them over before he gave himself up to the police officers? He thought I was crazy. That's just crazy, Justin Elliker said. That man would have rather those police officers have been run over before they took the life of that black child, as he put it. Now, I'm not going to say that Justin Elliker is evil, but I will say this. His thought in that was, because he saw the life of that black person who was trying to hurt people as more valuable as the people who have sworn to protect life in that one moment. But we need Justin Elliker so we can know what good is. It's just the way I look at it. We'll take your phone calls when we get back. Stand by. Reese on the Radio returns on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Let me go to George in St. Louis. What's going on, buddy? Did you watch the debate last night?
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought you would have.
Reese, I think there's a flashpoint where people are as mad as hell, and they're not going to take it anymore. And that's and that's what they that's where Democrats fall in place. Mm-hmm. And no one's forgotten about the last 4 years.
Right.
That fraud and $5 trillion of waste, and your kids can't read or write.
Yeah.
That's the Democrats. And the police. You're look at Chicago, the murders. You know, there's like 8 or 9 murders over every weekend in Chicago. So, you know, Chicago, Boeing's left Chicago. A bunch of corporations have left California,
mm-hmm.
and the people are evacuating from New York City. They're not putting up with it.
Do you think that
why would the rich pay more in
exactly.
taxes and get less in services?
And that's the interesting part.
That?
That's why I was. This is one of the flashpoints of this mayoral race and the debate last night was a constant theme from Mamdani's campaign. Is he keeps telling the rich. In fact, he said it on Martha McCallum's show that he's going to raise the richest another 2%, meaning they'll now be paying 52% in taxes. And what his excuse was, like, what's his selling point to the wealthy in New York is that their quality of life will improve by paying that extra 2%, which is another $9 billion. My response to that is, if you're rich in New York City, your quality of life is fine. You never have to worry about the doldrums of living in New York City because you live in some of the fanciest neighborhoods in New York. You go to the fanciest of places when you go to hang out. You're not hanging out where the average person hangs. Their quality of life is. But I'll tell you what he is saying, George, and tell me if you agree or disagree. I think what Mamdani's saying is they take this 2% extra in taxes so the pitchforks don't come for your neighborhood.
No, I disagree with that.
Okay.
I'm getting back to the flashpoint I'm talking about.
Okay.
I think there's a flashpoint where the rich are saying, I'm getting the hell out of here.
I believe that's true.
I'm going someplace where the quality of life is tremendously better. And by the way, this choreography, this clown show that they're trying to sell you in D.C.
Yeah.
I don't think people are buying it anymore. That's exactly what it is. It's a clown show. It's choreography, and nobody's being sold Democrat propaganda anymore.
I don't think so either.
It's over.
Thank you, man. Listen, I'm telling you, even though there are going to be people who are going to stay in New York because they just can't, and they'll just eat the 2%. But yeah, he's 100% right. They're not going to take it anymore. They're going to leave. But remember, there's also a downside. right? Those same individuals can bring their politics and their money to another state and make that more Democrat. But if they're smart, and I'm warning you folks, think about it. You are not bringing your Democrat moderate politics to the next state you go to. The next state you go to is going to be overrun by socialists who are then going to tax you in that state too that you keep funding. So either you get with the program and start assisting us to get us back to normal, or you are only going to be the useful idiots that you will be and have all of your money taken, all of your wealth taken from you, so you can keep funding this socialist nightmare. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's all that's left. That's all that's left. And I'm sorry, I hate to use the term my way or the highway, but think about it. The Democrat moderate, whatever it was, in Obama's era, Clinton's era, hell, even in the I don't know, Jimmy Carter era. That is over. The socialist leftist wing of the Democrat Party is over. You now are whatever it is that you brought onto from our institutions of higher learning. All of that stuff that you allowed to run rampant inside those college dorms, that's now coming. I mean, thank God for Turning Point USA. Thank God for there's been a resistance, a considerable resistance over the past 6-7 years, thanks to Charlie Kirk, and it is growing. But as far as the ideology of the left, you are out of phase with these folks. To them, you're just conservative light, and you get no play in their circles. So when you see all those folks and there's no kings, I got more to talk about. Trust me, we'll get to that in headlines in a minute. But stand by. More news, more views. Let's get to top of the hour news with our good friend John Silva in the WTIC newsroom. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a pretty long break, so bear with me. We've got some headlines, and we've got, unfortunately, some breaking news here. It's not really breaking in the sense of we didn't know about it for a couple hours now. I didn't know about it, but a lot of people are sending it to me. We will address it. It almost takes the wind out of this whole thing. But you know what? I'll get to that, and we'll push headlines. I got to do it. I'm going to push headlines back because we've got to talk about this story and this new development in the case. All right. So with a bunch of different news reports coming out about the death of Mimi Torres, there have been some reporting that has been enlightening and then somewhat confusing. And it's not about criticism, so I won't go even into that. But while all of this is happening, if you're listening to every one of the news outlets that are doing the stories and the angles that they're coming from, people are getting confused about what's going on or what happened here. So I'm going to try to see if I can bring all of the noise together, because there is something really, really awful that happened here. This wasn't just dropping the ball. This was coordinated deceit by Mimi's mother and other family members. And that's coming to light little by little. So be it Farmington police or New Britain police, I'm sure that I am, speaking in an echo chamber here to you right now. There are other people to arrest. I'm afraid. And whoever those people are, you got it coming. So let's break down a couple of things. Folks, if you were angry at DCF, prepare to get angrier. if you haven't learned. So Len Bestoff, friend to the show, did some reporting. I want to play him first. And again, there's just something in Len's reporting that I don't even think he knew, but if he did, he missed it. We'll clean it up. But just listen to his reporting because he spoke to the paternal grandmother, who I reported yesterday, and many reported yesterday, had Mimi in her care until she was 7. That's not the facts. She had Mimi up until 2022. But it gets worse than that.
Family court documents indicate Jacqueline Mimi Garcia lived with her paternal grandmother, Patricia Delgado, from birth until she was 7 years old. At one point, Delgado even sued Mimi's mother, Carla Garcia, for child support.
Now, Len doesn't know this, but she did not have Mimi until she was 7. She had Mimi until she was 9, 10 years old. That we know, it's verifiable, it's in the DCF report. That we know now.
Carla Garcia, now a co-defendant in Mimi's murder, was awarded custody in 2022.
See that? A year later is when things went south. But it wasn't 2022.
But DCF took her away from me. I felt they forced me to hand over the girl, and I went to court, and they told me that the grandmother no longer had any rights to take or even see the child.
The DCF, or Department of Children and Families, has not commented on what Delgado, the paternal grandmother, said. But the agency has said it has been involved with Mimi's family in the past, and it's reviewing its records. Court records also show the girl's father, Victor Torres, took Garcia to court over joint custody in 2023. He wrote, "I want to see my children weekend like we agreed when given joint custody, or any day for that matter." Mimi's mother, Carla Garcia, sought sole custody of her in April 2024. Custody was granted to her months later, and soon after that, police believe Mimi was dead. The paternal grandparents told us Carla Garcia would not let them see or talk to the child.
Okay. Now, where does this go off the rails? So we know with all of this that in 2024, Mimi's mom, biological mom, who ended up or allegedly killing her, got sole custody in June of 2024. Even though she had applied for it in April of that year, 2024, last year. We got the charging document. We have it right here on screen. You can find it anywhere. In fact, I would implore you, go to Connecticut Sentinel. Connecticut Sentinel was the first person that told me that they had it, and there it is. It's on my screen. If you look to the far right corner, it tells you murder with special circumstances, a Class A felony. The offense date is June 21st of 2021. Why would they put it at June while the police, as you heard Len Bestoff say, if you say that the child was killed in the fall of 2024? June of 2024 is when the charging document says the date of the murder took place. So even the police know that the child didn't die in the fall. While everybody else is saying probably died last fall, probably died last fall. Charging document, June of 2024. The same month, they got custody. But here's the other part. From the Connecticut Insider, our sponsor, our great sponsor. Connecticut Child Protective Authorities on the whereabouts of the 11-year-old girl whose remains were found last week by having someone else pose as her during a virtual wellness check. That's right. And that was earlier this year in January. DCF caseworkers had asked to see Jacqueline Torres Garcia, Mimi, in January after receiving a complaint. But her family said she was out of town and set up a call with a child who posed as the 11-year-old, the statement said. By that point, police in Farmington said, and New Britain said, they believe Jacqueline had been dead for 2 or 3 months. But again, the charging document says June of 2024. Her remains were found in a container. You all know that, blah, 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 blah. But see, here's the problem with DCF. There's a caseworker. And the caseworker said, hey, she's out of town? Yeah, we'll get you a video conference with her. The caseworker didn't recognize that it wasn't Jacqueline? The caseworker didn't recognize Mimi? The caseworker took the video call as confirmation and moved on? I'm just saying. If you weren't okay with DCF before, I think they just ratcheted up their hatred another notch. Now, I mean, there's going to have to be a full investigation into this and whether or not that's acceptable. I mean, that's a legitimate question. It's like, are you telling me that because these people are so bogged down with caseloads that they're doing video wellness checks? I mean, I get the whole idea of using technology, but let's be certain that we know what we're doing here. We're talking about the physical well-being of children, and these things are being allowed on video conference. DCF knows that they have egg on their face now, and I'm sure that they are scrambling at their offices as far as PR is concerned. But someone's got to send a letter. Guys, I got this letter yesterday to Ned Lamont. It's signed by Henry Martin, Paul Ciarella, Heather Summers, Ryan Fazio, Rob Sampson, Jeff Gordon, Jason Perillo, and Stephen Harding. We got to send another letter, folks. We have to send another letter because now that we know that they said, or they at least posted that the child was okay because someone was allowed to take a video conference of the girl. Now we have to ask a lot of other questions. Let's start with the obvious. Who was the other girl? I mean, come on, folks. And if the other girl has parents, who were they? Because now they aided and abetted in covering up a crime. Hence my earlier statement about, hey, Farmington Police and New Britain Police. Yeah. There's some more arrests going on out there that you're going to have to complete. This isn't cut and dry. This isn't black and white. This isn't that neat. This is dirty. Imagine the conversation. Hey, can you get your daughter to pose as Mimi for me? I mean, think about it. We have a huge cover-up, folks. This is really, I'm sorry, this is big. This is huge. DCF dropped the ball big time here, but we're talking about a massive cover-up of child abuse, massive cover-up of a child's murder perpetrated by these individuals and clearly many more. And if what Lost Fidel told us yesterday that came from other individuals who were speaking anonymously, there's a ring of folks who know about this. I mean, we're talking about an entire ring of individuals. Yeah, you're right, Latex, it's not good. How does the government keep getting away with such things as if the private company and a caseworker would be in cuffs right now? Jason, you're 100% right. This is a cover-up of massive, massive proportions on so many levels. And when you say that, I hear a lot of these people saying that you can't let a 12-year-old girl death, her life be in vain. It can't be. Look, you know what? I'm not even going to go down that road because then it gets political. I don't even want to do that. So I want to go to these key backgrounds. Okay, so in 2022, the Connecticut Department of Children and Families, they removed 11-year-old Jacqueline from Mimi Torres from the primary care paternal grandmother, Patricia Delgado. So that's the part that we know. In 2022, not when the child was 7, when the child was 11 years old, they took her away from them. They transferred her custody to her mother, Carla Rosalie Garcia. No exact date in the ruling is publicly available in court records or news reports, but we know that's not true. She petitioned for the child in April of 2024. She got full custody in June of that year. Again, charging documents say that she was charged for the June 21st murder of her child, the same month she got custody. Court decision and reason. DCF's involvement stemmed from concerns about Delgado's care, the grandmother's care, through specific allegations against Delgado that are not detailed in public records. Now, we thought, and we're thinking, that there was only one thing that could possibly have been the reason DCF had gotten involved. This may appear to be the case. We do know that the paternal grandfather, whose name is Osorio. You remember I told you yesterday that Osorio had spoken to the the Hartford Courant. Sorry, I apologize. It was reported in the Hartford Courant, but he spoke to Telemundo. And in speaking to Telemundo, he said that everyone's going to have to pay for the death of his granddaughter. Well, somebody forwarded a story to me, and then I went to go look it up. And our sister station in Florida writes this article. The date was October 22nd, 2020. Deputies in St. Tammany Parish make a huge drug bust when a deputy found that more than 13 pounds of heroin and fentanyl inside of a Connecticut man's car battery. According to the police, at approximately noon on Wednesday, a deputy with a St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Highway Enforcement Unit conducted a traffic stop of a 2013 Chrysler Town and Country after observing the vehicle swerve while driving northbound on Interstate 59 near Slidell. Deputies say 51-year-old Felix Osorio of New Britain, Connecticut, agreed to a search of his vehicle. This is when the deputy in the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Highway Enforcement Unit found drugs stashed away inside the car's battery. And there is a photograph of Mr. Osorio. I saw the picture yesterday, but then I watched the WFSB report and saw, standing next to Miss Delgado, Mr. Osorio, and I saw his picture and I saw the mugshot photos. They are the same man. Now, whether or not that played a role in this, we do not know. DCF is not revealing that. But if they were to find anything, that would have kind of been the catalyst. If there's anything out there, that's what it would be. If he's found on drug charges, they're in her care, this would start. Imagine, you got the mother who wants custody. They find out about this arrest. You get DCF moving on it. Hey, look at where she's living. That's it. Now, again, that is speculative, but I'm just following the breadcrumbs here. They all play some role. We'll find out. Anyway, following DCF's action, a court ruling stripped Delgado of all rights to the child, prohibiting her from seeing or contacting her. Custody was formally awarded to Garcia, making a significant shift in the family dynamics. So they say the 2022 transfer set stage for further legal battles, including a 2023 petition by Mimi's father, who you just heard Len Bestoff talking about, Victor Torres, for joint custody, in which he ultimately was denied in favor of Garcia's sole custody in June of 2024. DCF has stated it's reviewing the historical involvement with the family and has not released the details thus far. Where's the charging document again? Michael asked. Michael, go to the Connecticut Sentinel, and there's a story about it. It should be in the second fold. They have an actual photograph and a link to the official charging document. But if you want to see it here and you're watching online, I'll post it again. But there it is. It says Judicial Branch in the state of Connecticut, and it tells all the charges as it's associated with the mother, and it says the offense date all the way on the far right. Each of these charges are saying the offense date is June 21st of 2024. So this suggestion, again, and if it's the fall, like you know how some court cases will say in or about this time, that's usually because, again, they're sort of rounding out. So if it's in the fall, they'll use like October. If it's in the summer, they'll use June or July. July is like usually the center point, in or around July of that year, because they want to suggest the summer. You're saying June here. That's the spring. June 21st is actually the beginning of the summer. So that I find incredibly odd. Now, while the police saying she likely died in the fall, but the charging documents say June of 2020, it just doesn't make any sense, unless they know something that we don't. Or perhaps there's a confession. I would imagine that someone is speaking to the police, and if they're wise, I'm just going to say, Jonathan, start talking. Just hear me out, man. Start talking. Because if what I saw in that courtroom is correct and what I'm hearing outside of what regular reporting is, someone's going to try to pin this on you. So that mom and auntie can get some sort of a plea deal. And the court's going to look at that. And I'm just saying, the court's going to look at that and just going to say, how can we pin it on the guy, because we can say it was all of these other things so that we can spare the mother. So start talking, buddy. If you know something, get them jibs running. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, then we'll get into headlines when we return. It's Reese on the radio. Hey, we're back. Okay, I'm just going to do headlines. I just did a background. Again, I could probably only make you angrier. I got to do it. I'm going to do headlines instead. Let me just do that. Speaking on our last topic, a pair of high-ranking Democrat lawmakers chastised the Connecticut Department of Children and Families yesterday for its handling of the case of the former New Britain girl who allegedly was abused by her family members. In a joint statement, the House and Senate chairs of the Legislative Committee on Children directed blame at the state's child welfare agency for failing to protect Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia, whose remains were discovered this week. The Department of Children and Families was involved with the families of Torres Garcia through little information. You just heard at the bottom of the hour with John Silva, the updated information about the, as it was reported by the Connecticut Insider, that DCF actually did a video conference with a girl they believed to be Mimi, but an investigation should go into who that young lady was. Also, I tried to contact Representative Robert Parris to see if he would, is that his name? I don't even know. Is that his name? Representative, what's the representative's first name? You know, the one that said everybody was making whatever racist comments about him or whatever his name was. I can't remember his name. All I know is Representative Parris. I tried to contact him. He's one of the people who signed on to this. He refused to be on the program today. Whatever. Also, is John Larson's campaign in trouble? Luke Bronin took in early fundraising lead over the Democrat vying for Connecticut's first congressional district, currently held by Rep. John Larson. Some candidates are using new strategies to raise money, and Bronin is no different. It looks like Bronin has raised more than $1.2 million since announcing in late July. That's compared to Larson's $809,000 haul over the past 3 months. But Larson has had more time to fundraise and has raised nearly $1.1 million this year. Indivisible. That's right. You know those guys. Indivisible. Those are the guys who are in charge of this big rally that's happening on Saturday. That is hosting events here in the Nutmeg State. And if you're going to go, as I always tell you during these things, keep your head on a swivel. Please be careful. There will be rabble-rousers out there. But I figured I'd take the time to announce where some of the locations will be where the communist rallies will be held. So, if you'd like to, Please join us as we hold No Kings ceremonies in Canton, Southbury, New London, Torrington, Killingly, Litchfield, Middletown, Tolan, Old Saybrook, Glastonbury, Salisbury, Brookfield, Waterbury, Guildford, Westport, Milford, Stamford, Morris, Bridgeport, Newtown, Kent, Greenwich, Ridgefield, Granby, Groton, Windsor, Farmington, and Wyndham. Don't forget New Haven and Somers. Join us as we have wonderful discussions about bread lines, getting healthy, in the gulag, and everyone's favorite, the elimination of basic freedoms like thought and expression. Come on down and be a commie for your mommy tomorrow. Just wanted to get that out there. Also, the stupidest thing I read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Snoop Dogg. This is actually depressing. I was never really like, outside of his first album back in 1992, never a fan of Snoop Dogg. Just didn't really like his music. He had a couple of songs here and there that I liked. Drop It Like It's Hot was a cute record. But I was never really a Snoop Dogg fan. I know a lot of people are. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get cross any hairs with anybody. All right? Snoop Dogg is just never one of my favorite rappers. First album notwithstanding. It was okay. It was all right. But I've always had a problem with him and his mainstreaming. And now he's done this thing for the second time that I'm a little annoyed about. Here's a guy who called, women hoes. He even showed up at an award ceremony with two young women with leashes around their necks while he walked them into this guy. This guy was considered the misogynist of all misogynists. And then he's on the Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. Will Smith's oldest son. He was on that program with her. And she starts chastising him about his use of the B word. And what does he do? He capitulates. A guy who made his career off of using that word towards women immediately capitulated. And people told me, but Reese, he evolved. He's Snoop Dogg because of it. He didn't evolve. He is Snoop Dogg because of it. He's also Snoop Dogg because he's a big pot smoker. And remember, he's supposed to be a rule breaker, right? That's what made him popular. He was a rebel. That's what aligned him with guys like a Willie Nelson. These guys who didn't give a damn. And now here's a new one. You may have heard that Snoop Dogg was on a podcast saying that he took his grandkids, to go see Lightyear, the Disney film. And his grandbaby told him, Grandpa Snoop, how should he have a baby with another woman? That's not possible. And he was like, hey, what am I supposed to do? I'm just here trying to take the kids to the movies. And now all of a sudden I'm trying to explain sex to him. He couldn't deal with it. He was like, that's wrong. So the LGBTQIA plus elemental P's went after him. And of course, because Snoop Dogg has to protect the brand, he's now done this. According to reports, Snoop Dogg has just partnered up with queer activist Jeremy Belote. According to them, he is one of these people who's aligned with GLAAD to support LGBTQ. And after receiving that backlash, remarks about the trans couple in the Disney Lightyear movie, Snoop went on to make a Love is Love song for the organization. And it's geared towards children. So instead of questioning and giving correct answers to his grandbaby about how can a woman have a child with another woman, he's now writing songs about love is love. And this guy's supposed to be a rebel. This guy's supposed to be able to, like, how he can turn rebellion into mainstream. He's a sellout. Just for all you people out there who want to know what a sellout is, that's the sellout. That's how that works. He says something as it relates to his family, to his grandchildren. The big bad LGBTQ group comes out there and says, you're not allowed to say that or we'll cancel you. And instead of standing up on his own two, defending what he believes, he capitulates for a check. They cut him a check, and next thing you know, he's singing "Love is Love." Now, what are his fans going to say? Huh? What are his fans going to say now? You guys don't know what a sellout is. That's a sellout. That's what the definition of a sellout is. I'm just saying. All right. I went and saw this thing here, and I went to look it up. In 2020, according to the group, the Office of Child Advocate, they broke this down. In 2020, 9 kids died, primarily through abuse, neglect, while they were being seen or overseen by DCF officials. 9 kids died. In 2021, 14 kids have died. Homicides, overdoses, and the caregiver's substance abuse and neglect were a part of it. All under DCF. They had DCF cases pending. In 2022, that number rose to 15. That was its peak year in a 5-year period. They included the abuse and neglect of Alex M. 96% of 97 infant, toddler, non-natural deaths in 2019 to 2022 had DCF involvement. In 2023, 11. Fentanyl was prominent in 2 cases. Key incidents was Liam, a 2-year-old, blunt force homicide. He had an open DCF case. Marcelo M. was 10 months old. Fentanyl homicide. They had a recent DCF closure of this case. 2024, they are now counting Mimi Torres in that total of 2. In 5 years, 9, 14, 15, 11, and in 2024, 2. This is really, really out of sorts. It's an incredible amount of death while DCF is, and again, I haven't even counted how many kids have died overall, but that's an astonishing number to all have cases and kids still die while they have open cases with DCF. But like I said, we'll look further into this. But now that we know that the story is a little weirder, especially now that we know that we have a decoy, a fake child posing as a dead child, that's a thread that we're going to have to pull on. I'm going to see if I can get this guy, see if I get Los Fidel on the line, see if he knows any details about that kid. Hey, hello, Carl. Carl, checking out the show. He's got 2 days off. He hasn't been on the show for a long time. He's got a real job now. I missed you, big guy. I'll call you later on today. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, and we've got a guest coming up. Rozan is joining the show. Wow, it's already going on 4 o'clock. Yeah, we're about to wrap this up. Okay, all right, stick around. We'll return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we got Larissa Dali coming up and a whole bunch of other stuff coming up as well. What the heck was that? Oh, it was weird. My phone, there was a screen was doing something weird. We got plenty of that. Let me read some of the comments here in the chat room. Check out the lack of free speech. Someone sending me this about Simsbury. I did hear the story. I know about it. I've watched the video. I know everything about it. We will get into it on Monday. There's a lot of stuff to get into on that. I promise you that we'll talk about it on Monday. The Simsbury story it's a story, but it's not. Before we start screaming and hollering about free speech, that's not exactly what happened there. Sometimes some people have a tendency to sort of exaggerate. They think they've got a nugget. It's not. It's not. It's a story, but not in the way that people say that it is. I watched the video. Poor old lady. And what I love about her, if I could give her a round of applause, I need to just applaud this woman. Because they didn't even know what to do after she called the woman stupid or whatever. They didn't know what to do with themselves. They were just like, you can't do that. You can't disparage anyone on the thing. And she was like, she didn't get into a back and forth. She just continued to read her statement, which I applaud her to. It's like, I've got no time for the nonsense. I got 3 minutes. I'm going to get through it, which I thought it was brilliant. So happy that she did it that way, and good on her. That's the way you get it done. Don't let them distract you. Don't let them make it about that. Don't make it bigger than what the statement is. Your statement was heard. Everybody heard it. But now people are trying to turn all that other stuff into something it's not. Don't ever let them take you off your mission, ma'am. I totally loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I was cheering you on the entire way. Also, later on, so I think I've figured out what's going on with the Democrat Party as far as, how do I put this? Supporters who put a lot of stock in the Democrat Party. And if I may, let me preface it this way. Charlemagne said this, and I'll play it later, and I'll get into more details. Let me tell you what he said. He was talking to Eric Swalwell, I think it is his name. He was talking to him, and listen to what Charlemagne says to him.
Why should we ever trust the Democratic Party after they lied to us so long about President Biden? And I'm big on this because I just read the...
Now, again, I want to play it one more time.
Why should we ever trust the Democratic Party after they lied to us so long about President Biden?
Now, this is a sentiment that's really, really true within Democrats. I'm talking about rank and file, average, low information Democrats. Charlemagne asked, why should we trust the Democrats after they lied to us about Biden? In my head, I'm saying to myself, were you not watching television? The Democrats didn't lie to you. You lied to yourselves. Do you think, if you think Jake Tapper's book, Original Sin, which is what he says, listen to what he says.
Why should we ever trust the Democratic Party after they lied to us so long about President Biden? And I'm big on this because I just read the Original Sin, and I'm just like, I don't see how...
I'm big on this because I just read the Original Sin. I had to wait until Jake Tapper wrote the book for me to know that Joe Biden was in decline. And the Democrats lied to me about it. There's something behind that I want to explore later on in the show. And it will help us really understand what's going on. Because when you're asking yourself, why is it that when certain phrases, like why do Democrats use certain phrasing when they're in a speech, like Hakeem Jeffries, when he kept repeating, extreme MAGA Republicans, extreme MAGA Republicans. And then all of a sudden you saw the average person going, yeah, the extreme MAGA Republicans. You're saying to yourself, like, wow, did they really just repeat exactly? Yes. You see the breadcrumbs I'm laying for you? Yeah. Yeah, because it's true. Charlemagne makes a good point. Why should we trust the Democrats when they deceived us because they weren't looking at themselves? They were being led, which is a good point about this thing on Saturday. And I said this about all of these oppositions groups that always listen to the show and go in the chat room. They don't think for themselves. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Tom O'Hanlon is in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. We'll be back.
On the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Why did that not work? That's weird. I fixed that. Should have been ready to go. Okay, it's not. That's weird. I'm having some sort of issue with my audio right now. That's weird. It's never really happened to me. There we go. All right, congratulations goes to John E. in South Windsor. He is today's winner of a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rouse, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, where he lives. and Vernon and Manchester, you can get an opportunity to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months. You got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. In order to win, you must live in the state of Connecticut. You cannot have won within the last 6 months, but you can enter as many times as you like. Make sure you put in your telephone number and your date of birth. Also, help out the Connecticut Food Share by picking up a Becca, a bacon, egg, and cheese, chipotle, mayo, avocado bagel at Between Rounds. 50 cents of that purchase goes to the Connecticut Food Bank. We don't have to sell the license plate in order for you to help them out, which, by the way, doesn't go to them. But that's just another story. So help out if you can. When we return, my betrothed, my better half, has joined us. We're having a little bit of a riff right now. We'll air it out right here on the program because that's what we do. And we've also got our guest today who's going to be joining us, and that is Larissa Dali, actress Larissa Dali, producer Larissa Dali. We'll talk to her about her, her journey in through Hollywood or through media and all that other stuff, and how crazy it is, especially for women today. So we'll talk about that, and of course about all of her works in the business. So stick around for that. Okay. Now let's get another check of weather and traffic. In for Mark Christopher is Tom O'Hanlon, who oddly enough is always here when you're here, Rozan.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio, Rozan on the radio. Hello, dear.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm usually all right. Mm-hmm. I'm doing okay. Let's get to it. I understand she's traveling. I got to admit, well, it doesn't sound that horrible. When I first picked up, I heard a car, but it sounds okay. Larissa Dali is on the phone with us. Let's get a little round of applause here. Hello, Larissa.
Hello.
Well, I'm thankful that you're not, because I thought when I first picked up the phone during the commercial break, it sounded like you were traveling like in a tractor trailer or something. There was a lot of noise. This isn't that bad. I was about to say, I was like, I can't talk to her like this. It's not going to be a serious conversation with a whole bunch of traffic behind you. So you're traveling. I do understand that you actually, even though you are an actress and you've worked everywhere, from New York to California, you're stationed out of Houston. Is that correct?
I am. I was most recently stationed in Austin, but decided to move back to Houston to I needed to get a break from the city because I'm so on the go. But yeah, I'm stationed in Houston, Texas.
Now, is that because I've heard as of late, in fact, I was just reading an article about Luis Guzman, who you might remember, he's in the TV show Wednesday. Mm-hmm. He's been in countless other films, Ghost, right. Luis Guzman is, there's an article about him in the New York Post today talking about living in Vermont, and he's still in films and, TV shows all the time. Is that become the sort of normal state of play that you can live anywhere you want? You don't have to be in LA and New York anymore?
I mean, it's working for me, Reese. So absolutely, because everything is self-paced when it comes to auditions, and especially at Luis Guzman's level, he can be anywhere he wants. So his agent, and I'm so serious, his representation will take care of all that. But for me, I'm able to travel, and now becoming more mainstream and getting to do this full time, having that representation helped me out and casting me in roles in different areas. But yeah, I love that it's very remote and I can be anywhere I want and just kind of have to pick up and go, but that's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah, Larissa, you've done everything from independent work. You've done some mainstream work. I know you did an episode of a TV show I thought there was going to be a success. I'm not sure what the status of it is. That Fox TV show called The Cleaning Lady, which was a thriller. I know that had to have been fun with you. I've got a brother, a stepbrother, who did an episode of the NBC series Grimm. He loved it after coming from the independent area to going into the mainstream. The experiences are completely night and day. They're polar opposites. What's that like for you? Because you do both all the time.
Yeah. Yes, I switch back and forth a lot. And to be quite honest with you, it's helped me raise my standards and kind of understand what, as far as independent goes, what people can and need to get away with, but also keeping a standard and making sure everything is safe and professional, but learning kind of where that balance lies. But yeah, once you work for a big network, big studio, and basically unlimited budget, it is man, it's a different beast. But it's cool to be able to go back and forth and really, like, I enjoy the craft so much. Like, I love the storytelling aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I very, very much enjoy independent film because I can kind of get my hands more dirty, so to speak, and be more involved with the process.
No, I totally get that. I think that's the difference between mainstream radio and when I did podcasting and working in Sirius. So seeing all of those aspects gave me a better understanding of the genre that I'm in or the medium that I'm in. So I totally get that from an artistic point of view. My wife, Rozan, is here. She's got a ton of questions to ask you. But before we get there, I got to ask you a question. I'm just going there because I got to go there. What's it like working with Tyler Perry? I'm not a fan, but I got to know what it's like working with him.
So I haven't had the pleasure of working with him directly. I've worked with Tyler Perry Studios, and I'm also working with them, again, currently adjacently with Courtney Blade, who's very, very connected to TPS.
Okay.
It was actually an incredible process. Courtney Blade is a creative visionary, and I love and I'm very grateful to continue to work with him. So I'll have to get back to you on that when I work with him one-on-one.
Okay. Well, only reason why I'm asking is because I'm saying this. So I saw the movie that you did, Becky. Right? Now, I watched this film. Now, I'm not going to lie. When it comes to sort of the independent and don't take this offensively. This is a real term. This is not a racial term. So a lot of those films we call the Chitlin circuit. Okay? That's just what it is. Independently in the African-American community, in these films, and even in comedy and every other genre in entertainment, we call it the Chitlin circuit. So what I've noticed in a lot of those is that they will find someone who will work in there and that will do this particular role. Becky role is a very typical role in a lot of these movies. It is about the so-called white interloper into the black relationship. What was that experience like? And I understand you're going to do it again in a sequel. I don't know if it's called Becky 2, but I understand there's rumors that you're doing a second installment of this.
Yes. First, to answer your question, what it was like, I had a lot of fun playing Becky and getting to be this unhinged woman, right? Because the villain never knows they're the villain.
Yeah.
And so getting to justify all my crazy actions was just so much fun. And yes, there is a sequel, and it should be coming out, I think, by Christmas, if those rumors are true or not. I keep talking to the director and trying to find out more and more information because I've been talking about it like crazy. Because honestly, we have a cult following now. People really took to that.
I know why. You know why. Look, I'm just going to call it out there. If you're watching online, you can see Larissa Dali's photo there. She's very, very attractive, blonde. If you've gone to her Instagram page, Lolly Dali, I promised my wife that I only saw 45 of 98 photos. I did not dwell. My wife is right here. Anyway, but you're a very attractive girl, and let's just say to the Chitlin circuit, you are quite appealing. So I know why that you have a cult following, because, again, you're very attractive, and you sort of meet the standard in that, especially you do a movie about a white girl who's attracted to a black man in a committed marriage. And so that is a constant theme that many people talk about in the black diaspora.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes.
No, don't co-sign a word that I just said. Rozan, you had a couple of questions. I'm out of this now.
Yeah, I'm going to totally shift gears here just because, unfortunately, I've been a living version of that trope. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's fun. Anyway, how you doing, Larissa? My name's Rozan. It's nice to sort of meet you. I did get a chance to look over your double exposure.
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. And are you currently in Texas, like traversing the highways in Texas, or are you out and about?
No, I'm currently in Texas, traversing the vast land.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you know this, but we currently live in San Antonio.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're leaving. We'll be in Connecticut shortly. So that's, it's interesting to find out just now finding out you're here in Texas. But I was wanting to know more about your health and wellness practice, and that's really important to me. That's how I've been living my life, dealing with some inflammatory health issues for myself, and of course being a woman of a certain age, life changing and hormones changing. And so I was really intrigued when I saw that you are sort of taking this naturopathic journey at such a young age. So what has that been like, and what inspired you?
And you're an influencer in this space, if I'm correct.
I'm not sure about that, but I'm trying to be, and I'm trying to, because I love living authentically and transparently. So what inspired this whole journey is actually, unfortunately, I lost my mom to cancer when 12 years ago at this point. But I got into really, really into understanding what it means to be healthy and eating well. And I deep dived into that. And after losing her, it kind of lit a fire under me, and I learned so much more, energetically what that means, and as far as nervous system regulation and NLP and all these different practices that kind of connect the mind, body, spirit. And then I also personally suffered from horrible inflammatory issues that cause severe cystic acne. And in the line of work that I'm in, that doesn't, it's actually a lot more common than you would think. So I kind of had to go down the rabbit hole with all of that and understanding how my body works and stress, and it's so fascinating. So long story short, I went down the rabbit hole and kind of learned a lot of things that had to do with me, and then it kind of branched out into all these other things that now I live by, and I have to make sure to kind of keep that balance. And I can know personally if I'm off off that balance or not.
Right. You start to really feel it in your body when your diet is off and your sleep is dysregulated, or even a time zone shift. People don't realize how intensely that can impact the entire body. I'm wondering, this is something I'm running into a lot, and I feel really I'm always apologizing to people. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be a total pain in the neck. I can't eat this because it's got, it's fortified, it's been bleached, it's been highly processed, it's got a lot of sugars, artificial dyes, and I look at my friends and I'm so sorry. I feel like that lady in the restaurant who's like, yes, I'll take a salad, but I want it totally deconstructed. And you know what I mean? I feel like such a maniac. Have you noticed any of that or run into any of that even within your own social circles?
Absolutely. But I have a couple different groups of friends, ones that totally get it and ones that kind of look at me sideways, but understand because they're supportive. And they actually are very inquisitive and are asking okay, well, why do you not eat soy, dairy, peanuts, all these things? And I explain to them, and I kind of give them the journey and the process, because not every body is built the same.
Right.
But I'm definitely one of those maniacs at a restaurant. I'm like, where's the source? Is it you soak this in soy? I ask all the freaking questions.
Yeah.
I have to jump in here because I'm listening to the both of you. I've got to ask. Okay, listen. I'm looking at my wife. I look at you, Larissa. I'm sorry. Are we supposed to believe that you folks are living a traumatized life with the things that you have to eat? Is it really that hard to be you? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Wow.
I'm teasing.
Wow.
I'm teasing.
Wow. It's if you understand, we've been together almost 5 years now, and you've not been with me when I've had a full-blown arthritis flare-up where all of my joints are just like glass. You've been with me, my hair is falling out massively. You've never seen me with the cystic acne or the IBS or the bloating or the
goodness
absolute
gracious.
fatigue. Right, because I corrected a lot of these things prior to coming together, and this is how and why. And finding other people, and as young as she is,
right?
To be finding this journey and walking this journey on this path of a healthier life. This also increases things like she's going to be able to maintain that beautiful skin a lot longer and that hair a lot longer. This is only going to benefit her career long term.
How old are you now, Larissa?
My real age or the age I tell everybody?
Oh, okay. All right.
Your Hollywood age.
No, then I'm not going to say a word. I don't even want to know any further. See, I can ask you because you're an actress, but no, I'll ask you this before I let you go. And thank you for the time, and we appreciate you being here.
Of course.
There's so much stuff, of course, about you because your resume, if you will, is actually pretty lengthy. You've done a lot of work in and out of independent and mainstream, which I absolutely think is a success no matter what, because it gives you an opportunity to learn and grow. But I will tell you this. I'm very, very happy to know that you are not in Hollywood and the fact that you have a regimen that you go through in order to sort of keep yourself youthful. You understand how this business goes. Is like, you can be you're a hot flash all the time. You're like, you can be the most.
I have those frequently.
But when I say a hot flash in the industry, you could be the most sought after actress, and then something goes wrong, and then nobody's calling your name. So I know how arduous it is. If I were to ask you, just as far as I'd say professionally, do you have a backup plan, or is this the thing you want to do for the rest of your life? Do you want to be an actress?
I have to tell you, this is something that's going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life in some capacity. As far as being an actress, yes. And the reason I say that is because I have been pushed to create my own projects, and I have a project called Linda, which I wrote and I starred in and I co-directed, and stuff like that, and creating my own production company and really putting my foothold and my stamp on things and telling the world, like, basically, screw you, I'm gonna do this regardless. So yes, in some capacity, I see myself as a storyteller forever, as a writer, director, producer, what have you. But if I were if I were to ever shift gears, I think it would be absolutely in health and wellness, because I'm trying to actually couple that right now with this brand I'm creating called The Alchemist Actress. But anyways, we could talk about that.
No, we'll have you back, because I know that you're working on Linda. By the way, we are definitely going to see this film. It is about a woman who goes back to becoming a stripper.
I know.
You did.
I totally read about it. Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make sure before we go, it's Lolly Dolly. It's Lolly, or is it Lolli?
Oh, Lollidoli. Right.
Lollidali.
Yeah.
Lolly. It's a Y. Not
I was right. You were wrong. Okay. Lolly Dolly on Instagram, y'all. Check her out. Her videos are, she's got workout videos, and she's gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful.
Larissa Dali, thank you so much for your time. Safe travels, by the way.
Drive safely.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk soon.
You guys are amazing. Yes, thank you.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
All right. Lolly Dolly. That's actually pretty clever. We'll be back. Let's get to Tom O'Hanlon. He is in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio, Rozan on the radio. Got a couple of minutes. You want to air it out now?
Oh, there's not enough time. I really want to have people call up and tell you how much you're wrong.
Really?
I do, absolutely.
You sure you don't want to air this out now?
Let's do it.
No, we can wait. Though.
No, let's do it. Let's start now, and then we'll continue into the next one. So let's go. Here we go. Reese is a workaholic. He's obsessed with his cell phone because all he ever does is look at the news. He wakes up with his back to me looking at the news. He goes to sleep at night with his back to me looking at the news. You spend 10 hours a day in your office only looking at the news. I asked you to take me to Target 2 days in a row. By the way, we're moving, and I'm the only one packing and cleaning and moving furniture and scrubbing everything behind the walls and making all the boxes and emptying all the cupboards. That's all me. You did put everything up in the attic. That's okay, but I've done all of that other legwork. While you're in here in your office, I bring you your vegetables, I bring you your vitamins, I bring you your meals, I bring you your water, I bring you your coffee. And then when I tell you, hey, I really just need a little bit of time and attention, you tell me that I'm asking for way too much. And I feel like it's just gaslighting. So there it is.
All right. Okay. Do you feel like you've
No, there's more, because then we go to Target, and I'm like, we really have to go to Target to get this stuff because, we've got a tenant moving in here, and I don't want to leave old janky, worn-out stuff, so we have to go to Target, new stuff. And the whole time we're there, all you're doing is griping, and you're upset, and you're rushing me, and you're stuck in your phone, and you won't move, and you're like, it's time to go. And so I'm like, okay, let's go. And you're lagging behind, but then we get in the car, and all we do is watch Moron Mamdani, and now my head is, all a mess. And it's just, I feel like I love you, and I know that you love me, and I am completely going to do anything and everything I can to make sure that I'm here to support you. And I'm so much better now. I don't even bother you when you're in here in your office, except occasionally to come and give you a kiss, and I might come in to show you a video, but for the most part, I leave you alone. And now when I come to you and say, listen, I really need more time, can we put the phone down during a meal, and can we put our phone down at 10 or 11 o'clock at night so that I can feel like I have a husband? And you're like, well, the weekends are yours, and that's great. So that means I'm only a wife on the weekend.
Okay.
There's another thing, but I don't think that's appropriate to talk about on the radio.
No. Listen to me. I try to explain to people that I am a flawed individual. I'm not perfect. You always sort of talk about me in a very glowing way.
I absolutely adore you. I think
know you do.
are a phenomenal man. You're an amazing hard worker. You're an amazing husband. It's just like you kind of go through these cycles where you forget that I'm your wife and I'm not your assistant who makes sure that you're fed, hydrated, and have clean underwear.
Okay.
Sometimes that's how I feel. And, when I say, I told you last night, like, can we just put our phones down at a certain time? And you were like, oh, no, it's this morning. And you're like, no, absolutely not. I refuse. I'm drawing the line there. I refuse to give another inch. And I'm like, what have you given up? Mm-hmm. You were in here from 9 a.m. until I drag you out at 5:15. And then you're in here until 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then it's your phone until you fall asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
My turn when we return?
Sure.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's out, and Tom O'Hanlon is filling in. We'll be right back.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I agree with the NAACP on that one. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Not everybody is a fan. They're not going to be. And they're really, really not going to be a fan of my tactics and the way in which I do things. Now, I've never, ever said what I'm about to say, not even to you. I've never said what I'm about to say. And this is probably, and again, this is probably my own thing to deal with. And I'm, as we always say, talk to your sponsor, right? Maybe it's appropriate. But if you joined us late, so Rozan got an opportunity to talk about some of her grievance with me over the last couple of weeks while we are getting ready to move. And of course, her grievance with me is that I spend a lot of time working as opposed to giving her the attention that she needs when she needs or asks for. And there are some things that I believe that is a bridge too far, and then she makes these sort of demands, and I'll use that term loosely. You're not a demanding person. You ask of them, but I'm calling them demands for the sake of the argument. I don't have a problem with you asking for a lot of things, and in many ways, I do acquiesce. I do often, to me, only being upset about it afterwards. Right, because I always end up getting ticked off because I'm saying I should have done that instead of doing the thing that you wanted because, again, that was fruitless. No offense.
Like moving to Texas.
Right, doing the thing and then not doing the thing that was prudent. Not doing the thing that I knew in my gut that I should have done. That I didn't take the lead because in trying to appease you, other things have fallen by the wayside. And because I have a mission, and I know a lot of people don't know this, but I don't always talk about it. I have a mission, and it is a slow-paced mission, but it is determined. I don't want overnight success. I don't believe in it. Many people talk about it, but there is no truth to it. When everybody says, like, out of nowhere, the guy became this sensation, they don't know about the hard work. As Ed O.G. used to say, you weren't down when we were riding the bus, right? A lot of people were not down when I was riding the bus, meaning that you weren't there when we were poor.
No, I meant Ed O.G. I don't know.
Okay, it's not important. Anyway, but that's the way I look at it, is that a lot of people weren't there in the beginning. Carl is a perfect example.
Hi, Carl.
Carl was there with me in the beginning. He saw the struggle. He was, like, Carl believed in my success so much. When I barely had someone listen to me, Carl listened to my show every day. He believed in me, and he watched that grow, that evolution grow. So I'll never forget that. But in order for me to be the person that I have to be, that I have to dedicate myself to it. And people don't know behind the scenes how hard that work is. I know that you do, but it is hard work. And in that, it ain't perfect. In that, things are kind of fall by the wayside. But in order to be the best, you got to work like the best. You have to always be training. You have to always be behind, sort of be in the back room, sort of lifting the weights, getting the information, knowing stuff, because you can be sidelined by somebody else who does it harder, faster, and cheaper than you. I'm not going to be that guy. And what I'm about to tell you, I never told anyone. I took this for granted before. In 2001, I thought that I was the bee's knees. I thought my crap didn't stink. And I thought that I was just, because I was so good, that I could just have fun, party, have a good time, and have it all. Because you know what? I was on the most successful show, and I was literally smelling myself. And then when it all came crumbling down, it turns out that it was worthless. All of it. None of it meant a thing. So now I have to build something that is impenetrable, stable.
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick. Right. And it cannot be. So at times, people don't know this, but I've had relationships while I was in this business, and I watched those crumble because it was by the same thing. By those people saying what I was doing wasn't that important to them, or it wasn't that important. Like,
is that what I've implied?
No, you're not curing cancer. You just talk on the radio.
Wow.
And by saying that,
it's diminishing.
Not only is it diminishing, it's saying that what I do is only worth the paycheck it brings.
That just hurt my heart.
I didn't mean. I'm sorry. I don't want you to think that that's what I mean about you. It's just that people don't understand what this is to me is bigger than that. It's right. I'm not just trying to build Reese on the radio. I'm trying to build something that is fortified so that you are secure. You never have to worry about a thing ever. That when the moment comes and you say, I'd like to spend $1,000 on something, that everything that I built isn't off somebody else paying me off, that I earned the dollars that you spend, that I've earned it through the hard work, that when I am that guy, whoever that guy may be, that everybody knows that I built it from the ground up on my terms, and it's validated and it has integrity. That's the most important thing to me, and that you are never, ever ashamed by what I built. That I didn't build it by demeaning people, that I didn't build it by being some sort of shock jock, that I didn't do it on the backs of somebody else, that I did it with my own hard work. And sometimes there are sacrifices to be made. I understand that sometimes those are tough. I understand that sometimes
I'm just saying, put your phone down during a meal. Put your phone down during a meal.
I can do that.
At 11 o'clock, 11, I will give you 11 o'clock. 11 p.m., put your phone away.
Yeah, but if there's breaking news and there's stuff that I have to gather.
Is there breaking news every minute of
every day? No, but when there
is. When there is, have I been understanding, even during a meal where I'm like, no, I totally understand.
Absolutely.
So when I say put your phone down at 11 o'clock, I just, it's time for, I need my husband. I need to know that we can reconnect at the end of the night. And when we go to bed and you got your back to me and I'm just laying there like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. that
I understand.
That makes me question what, you say you're working to support me and make this life for me, but what's the point if you don't even know me? You're going to allow all this time and space to go between.
I can understand that. I can understand where it could be. You can feel sort of taken for granted.
I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not asking you to whisk me away on. I just want you to put your phone down and snuggle with me and talk to me and be silly with me and just love me for 10, 15 minutes before we go to sleep.
Okay. This is a very vulnerable place. I hope you're okay with this.
No, I'm fine. I didn't want you to feel like you were, being put on the spot.
Nah.
Because I know what you're working with. And it's been a journey getting to a point where I can leave you alone in here for 12 hours and not freak out like, oh my God, I miss you. It's been a journey for me. We both know that. But now it's getting to a point where you're not even giving me those moments in between.
Okay.
And I just put your phone down. Listen, everybody who calls Reese and texts Reese and sends him stuff at dinner time, don't. Just for an hour. After 11 p.m., stop sending him stuff. I need my husband to be with me just an hour long for one meal. That's it. Usually dinner is my preferred meal. And then bedtime, that's it.
Okay.
You can get
I wanted you to get an opportunity to get it out. Now, I know some ladies are sitting in the back just going, I'm not opposed to being chastised. There's a lot of guys in the room right now, so I know what I'm going to hear, but whatever. I'm cool with it.
I want to say this.
Okay.
You are an amazing husband. You are so good to me. I've never been treated this well by anyone, not a single human being alive on this planet. That includes parents.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever treated me as well as you do.
And still complaining. No, I'm kidding. I'm telling you, I'm sorry.
I will handle you after the show because I do not need witnesses. Reese is the reason why this show snapped is a thing. No, I'm kidding.
Let's go to the phones. Matteo is on the line. What's going on, sir?
Mr. and Mrs. Hopkins, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Man?
So I'm going to agree with both of you because Here's the thing, Reese. I know what you're trying to do, and you're going to be a success. You're going to either be on Fox News or be nationally syndicated, and that takes a lot of time. But on your side of it, all that success will mean nothing if you don't have her to share it with.
Fair enough.
And then on the flip side of that coin, she has to understand that she has to share you with a lot of people, because now a lot of people love you. And it's hard to share you with the public. But, so I can see both sides of the coin.
I hear you.
No, I honestly, I love the fact that we were in Connecticut in September and people would just randomly walk up off the street. I mean, I would just stand back in awe. I thought that was the most amazing thing to watch Reese. Just, it's humbling to watch how humbled he was by other people appreciating him. I think it's amazing and it's beautiful. And I want to be a part of this with Reese, because I believe the first time I saw Reese on a podcast, I knew that that's where he belonged. He's breathing. He's alive. He's like a fish in water when he's on the show. So that part doesn't bother me. I just need, toss me a bone, sir. Well,
yeah, we'll ignore every
double the
pun.
entendre.
Thanks, Matt. I
won't
appreciate
say nothing dirty. I won't say nothing dirty. Not this
Thanks.
time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. White Mike calling all the way from Florida. Hello,
boy.
sir. He's probably going to give us hell. He's like, why are you doing all this crap on the radio?
Okay, well, so first of all, you so-and-so, I've been with you for 15 years, and you give Carl a shout-out?
I'm sorry. I didn't give Carl a shout-out. I was giving you, actually, some love because I knew you were on the line. But, yes, White Mike's been with me 15 years. I'll never forget it the first time we ever connected on the Blog Talk Radio podcast. Blog Talk's not even a thing anymore.
Idiots all day?
No, this is Blog Talk Radio is the actual program. But that's where Mike and I first hooked up, my first podcast in January of 2012.
Wow.
Okay, so now let's address the subject at hand. You're my buddy. We are personal friends. We talk off air. But I'm going to say something maybe a tad iffy. Is this your first marriage?
Fourth. I'm his fourth wife. You think he'd know better by now.
Do you think maybe there's a red flag there, ma'am?
Absolutely not. Listen, I have to be...
No. I knew a guy who kept buying Fords, and they always broke down, and he kept buying Fords. but no, here's the thing. You both have valid points, clearly. Reese, you got to make some time. An hour at dinner is not so much.
Right.
Put the phone down. No screens in bed ever. Bed is for two things: sleeping and it's not for anything else. Do your work outside of bed. Bed is a sacred place for a couple. Make your woman happy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. She's 100% right about that. And I find excuses for it, and I shouldn't. You're 100% right. And it may be because I'm obsessing about maybe I'm missing something or something that I did miss.
FOMO.
Legitimately, don't let him sit in his office and bring him food like he's Cartman on that episode about World of Warcraft. He's a grown-ass man. He can get up and himself make his own sandwich.
I wish he could. He
she won't let me in the kitchen.
One of my gripes that I didn't really quite get out was the shared domestic duties that Reese does not absolutely refuse. He's never swept a floor, vacuumed, mopped, dusted a thing. You've only washed laundry while I was gone.
Haven't mow the lawn?
Well, so here we live in Texas, right? Between May and December, there's no grass. It is brown, dead. It doesn't grow.
Yeah, it's dirt.
So
That's
no, he's not cutting the grass.
Do you wash the car?
Nope.
I will take it to the car wash. I believe that there's an industry for those things that you can pay for. That stuff I do.
Do you change the batteries in your smoke detector?
Yeah, I do.
They're hardwired to the house, the house electric system. So try again.
Look, just good luck with this, okay?
Yeah.
You're dealing with kind of an OCD curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck, kid. All I can tell you. It's kind of hard to break that old Bronco,
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you.
I've made your life very easy.
Yeah, I'm looking at as you're laying this stuff out. I'm going, God, I don't do a thing.
You don't.
I don't do
You
a
sit
thing.
in here, and I cater to you.
You're the worst.
I'm the worst.
Yes, you are.
I can't even get you to take me to Target without griping.
Fulton is on the line, but Fulton, I want you to hold on because I don't know if you were calling about this or you're calling about our conversation earlier. But I don't want to go off track on this. So let me take Mike in Canton real quick before we go to break. Hello, Mike.
Hey, I'm going to make it real quick. I know you're up against time. So I'm going to share with you something simply profound. First of all, thank you both for sharing this because this applies to every guy and every gal in the world.
Wow.
But I'm going to share with you a simple statement my ex-wife, God rest her soul, and you can draw your own inferences from it. She said it to me when there was a point in our marriage where I was getting a little too comfortable and a little too over-involved in work and whatnot. And I'll adjust it a little bit to fit your scenario, but it was so simple. She looked at me, she said, listen, who's going to wipe your butt when you're 75, me or your listeners? Take it for what it's worth, buddy.
Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Mike. You know what?
Right.
You drove it home. You drove it home with the butt wiping thing.
That is chef kiss.
Thank you. You couldn't get more perfect than that right there.
Although I did say that I would hire a very attractive nurse for Reese to look at while he's convalescing.
Can she look like Larissa?
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Long as I don't have to touch that backside of you unless we are in dire straits, and I actually no, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure I'd want anyone near you at that point. I'm so hyper protective of you and your name and your reputation and everything about you. No, I don't know if I could really let anybody else.
I know you wouldn't. Yeah. I know you wouldn't, but I love you for that. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Thank you for sharing this. This is actually kind of therapeutic.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to do that Therapy Thursday? Yeah. I always think, I'm telling you, I love that idea. People should,
I'm not opposed. We could save start our fights on Thursdays instead of Fridays.
You do know I love you, though, right?
Absolutely. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, not a question.
All right. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Tom O'Hanlon is in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I don't have any Hollywood news this Friday because there's really nothing in the movie theater.
The last episode, the season finale of Blood of My Blood is on tonight.
What is that?
Oh, it's okay. So I've been watching Outlander. I have been a subscriber to the Starz Network since 2014, specifically to watch the Outlander series. And I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I bought the books. I listen to the audiobooks. I'm just obsessed with this world. It is a historical romantic fiction. So it's based in actual historical events. Sure, but a lot more epic and a lot longer going. Anyway, Blood of My Blood is actually the prequel. So it's the parents to the two main characters of Outlander, and it's amazing. I love it. I've been watching avidly. Like I said, it's on tonight is the season finale. Why can't I say finale? Season finale on Starz. So
would you go see Keanu Reeves tonight in Good Fortune?
I just saw a preview for that. I will definitely watch it when it comes out on TV.
Really?
I don't like the movie theater. It's not the movie itself. It's the theater. It's coughing and sneezing and children and chewing and rappers and moving and standing up and sitting down and sticky floors. Why is the floor sticky?
You know what? When I went to the movies last week to go see Roofman, the Channing Tatum film. So I'm sitting there and I had this gigantic bottle of water that I purchased there. And, I actually, because of you, I don't buy soft drinks at the movie theater anymore. I buy water, popcorn and water, and, of course, my Twizzlers because that's a tradition since I was a kid. But, yeah, I drink water when I'm there. So, anyway, I guess got there early, and I think I was on a second bottle of water, whatever it was. And I sat down in the middle of the movie, and I'm telling you, I had to go so bad. I got up in the middle of the movie and went to the bathroom and came back. And I don't think I missed the thing. It was one because it's not like it's not like one of those.
It was a building. You're in a building.
Yeah, it was
section.
one of those. No, it was like a building. Yeah, building portion of the film. Like I didn't walk out of it and miss some dire part.
Right, like
of the
he
movie.
sneezed and wiped his nose, and he came back and he
yeah,
just threw
it was
the
over.
tissue
But I was
away.
so glad that I went to the bathroom. But I was like, a movie like this, you can go to the bathroom at some point. By the way, speaking of which, I'm going to find out what the website is. I'm going to look it up. Do you know there's a website out there that tells you during the movie when you can go to the bathroom?
Which point is at this minute,
This, I didn't know. I remember it a couple of years back, but I need to know if the website is still there. You know about this website?
Yeah. Well, my former previous marriage, we had to go to all the movies. And in that relationship, I had no voice. I just did what I was told.
Yeah. What's it like? What's it feel like now to have a voice? Even
To be the bully? I'm a bully. I know that I'm an emotional bully.
Now I got to go check that website. So you had to check the website for your ex-husband just so you know when you can go to the movies?
Because of how often I went to movies.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but no, I didn't care. I went to the bathroom
All
on
right.
pee, so.
Let's get Tom O'Hanlon in here. He's in the BPS Traffic Center in from Mark Christopher.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. And you know what? Let's get to these calls real quick. Fulton's on the line. How you doing, big guy?
What's up, buddy? So I'm giving you advice without giving you advice. 26 years of marriage. Do not go to that movie tonight. Just watch Blood of Blood, or whatever the crazy show it is. It sounds like it's like the Hallmark Channel. Listen, the paid dividends. Open a bottle of wine. That's what you want, buddy. Come on.
No,
Who's making love to your old lady while you're out making love? That'll be the song you'll be playing.
That's a good point.
I mean, I can't. Yeah, I mean.
I've been breaking it down. Like, that's what you want. You say it on the radio.
Yeah.
Second, I got a Halloween costume for you.
What's that?
Brittany Griner. Be Brittany Griner for Halloween.
No, thank you.
What's that?
Come on,
Reese?
that's a great one.
What's her name? Brittany Reese?
No, that's her name is Gabrielle. No, not Gabrielle.
You know
Reese.
the one.
Oh, goodness gracious. The one that everyone's always.
Yeah, but whatever.
Todd's always sending me pictures of her.
Yeah, it could be that one.
No one else does.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll buy you a wig.
Thank you, Fulton. I appreciate you.
Well, so I got one more thing for
Okay.
you. So I want people to look at the case of the 13-year-old girl here.
12-year-old girl, yeah.
So, the 12-year-old girl, I'm sorry. So she's in school, right? And then they're saying that the phone call happens in January. It's 9 months since then. There's another kid that knew that. There's more people implicated.
Right, and that
No
was the
one's
point.
knowing about it.
Right, that was the point I was making earlier. And Rozan, if you haven't heard, so what we've learned so far, the Connecticut Insider is corroborating this story, is that the charging document says, upon arrest, that the mother, the aunt, and the boyfriend are all being charged with Mimi's murder on June 21st of 2024. Even though they're reporting they believe that she's been dead since the fall, but the charging document says June. DCF has now released their documentation and their tracking of this story, saying that they did a face-to-face on video conference with Mimi, or what they believe to be Mimi, in January of this year.
So they changed it to a teleconference.
Yeah, a
So I don't know if
teleconference.
that's not
Right.
a video conference.
Right.
it's
That
just a
sounds like a
telephone
cover-up. It
Yeah.
sounds like a CYA sort of thing.
Exactly. So whomever they thought that they were communicating with.
You know what? First of all, if DCF is if that department is involved in your life, they're not making a phone. Hey, we just want to make sure your kids are still alive. They want to come to. I mean, they come to the home.
Yeah, that
They
is
need
supposed to be a face-to-face.
DMV. Imagine going to the DMV and having them help you with your kids. It's horrible.
Yeah. So what we're learning now is that there was this teleconference as it was, but there was there's a stand-in for Mimi, which again only leads to the question of who was the stand-in.
Listen, I want to see a recording of this alleged phone face conference. I'm thinking it's BS. You don't spontaneously not know what the child looks like, and how do they? Where has this phone conference been this entire time?
Yeah.
I want to see phone logs. Phone logs out. It's showing me that there was a 5-minute conversation, some sort of conversation with this girl. She has brothers and sisters. What was the original call? Was it the teacher? Was it a principal from that school that they pulled her out of?
Right.
Because it was the end of the year, 5th grade, right? And then she goes, "Oh, we're going homeschooling now." But DCF's already involved.
I would, what another interesting aspect of this is, as you're right, there were siblings that were in the house as well, according to this, because Katie, the mom, has received custody of all 3 children.
How many of them are dead?
2, only 1. The other 2 that are alive are now in other, I guess, foster situations. You got to interview them. and find out
like,
what.
One of them, the kids, like they had a dead person in their house for a year and 4 months.
Exactly.
Like, what was that smell like? Think about that. Like,
Yeah.
Rozan, you were in the military. I don't know where you've been or anything. Think about how traumatic it is.
You never
someone
forget
dies.
that smell. You never forget the smell of
that'll
the body.
the smell will be in their nose hairs for months. Like, they'll smell that smell and know.
Yeah.
That's how
Some
brutal it
smells
is.
that, like, to this day, if I smell certain things, I'm like, oh, that's CS gas. Like, I can
CS
still
gas,
smell.
100%. That's the on clothes, on anything. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, like, you know that smell. You know this. Like, I'll never forget the cadaver lab. Like, you never forget that smell. There
A
are
burn
things.
pit. You know what a burn pit smells like.
I
when you get
fortunately
them.
have
You're like,
never.
ugh.
I've never had to deal with a burn pit, but I can't even imagine. But yeah, I think this DHS video conference is completely fabricated. I think this is an after the fact design to cover
I don't think.
their
No.
crimes.
First of all, even if there is, my point is that the fact that they disclosed that it happened and it's in January, and now we know that the child was dead months before, if not a half a year before. That shows the ineptitude of DCF, and not only that, it also opens. Like I said, the investigation must be broadened now.
I think that just because
I want to look at the judicial system at the judge that won. The sister had a 10-year bid and did 9 months.
Yes.
9 months. You just got out of jail. A 10-year.
I heard shit. Wait a minute. The aunt. Wait. Hold on, Fulton. And it's so funny you mentioned that because if I'm right, the sister, the aunt that's also been charged, had a charge against her where she only. I think you're right. She only served 9 months, but this was a sentence of 10 years originally.
10 years. 10
that
years.
restorative
Suspended
justice.
After 3 months or something, then she did like a year and a half.
Yeah.
18 months. And I think she ended up doing 9. Like,
Yeah.
She was out and shouldn't have been. Really. The guy, he was a creep. He has a risk of reckless endangerment charge that he does under a year.
This call will be recorded.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I do not consent to the recording of this phone call.
I
All right.
record my phone calls.
Yeah, your
Just so
phone.
you know.
No longer being recorded.
That's okay. I totally get that. That's exactly what I do. So don't worry about it. You didn't offend me, my friend.
But,
Thank you, man. Let me get some other people in here. Thanks, Fulton. I appreciate you, man.
I'm sorry to take up all the time.
That's okay, man.
Thank you.
You got it, boss. Let's go to George in Suffield. Hello, George. George?
Reese, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm actually pretty impressed at your comfort level, you and the missus, at how comfortable you are being so vulnerable on the air. That's impressive, very impressive.
Thank you. I'm very confident in my wife, and if I may be so bold, I'm very confident in my marriage. Primarily because I know that I can be a screw up. As much as she talks about it being perfect and great, I know it isn't. And that's why I kind of give her the outlet to say, you know what, tell the world how bad I am. I can deal.
I'm just deluded.
Well, you were going to say, George, I'm sorry.
No, nothing. Just that you must be super confident because you had tons of practice being on your fourth.
Still lots to learn.
I'm 37. I'm still on my first. We're actually this January coming up. It'll actually be 19 years if you can believe it.
Wow! Congratulations, man. I mean,
yes, we got started real early.
Wow.
My family is from Mexico. My wife is from Mexico, so you could say it's a Mexican thing.
It is a Mexican thing.
Yeah. You like lobsters.
How many kids do you have?
2 boys, 17 and 23.
Now let me ask this other question because a lot of people don't realize this. How many names do each of your sons have?
Could you be a little bit more specific?
Like first, middle, last?
So each of my children have 4 names.
Okay. So my youngest is a junior, so he's just 3. It's George Patrick Austin. The second, I named him the second and not junior because I thought I was being clever. I had him at 19, so that was stupid. And my oldest son, Maury, he's actually naturalized a citizen. He's my stepson.
Oh, okay.
He's only 14 years old. And he, since he took my name when he was naturalized, he only has 2 names.
Okay. But you know what? You officially adopted him.
That's correct.
You know what? Hey, you're getting a round of applause for that. We have absolutely. And you know what? I'm just gonna say I love it when I hear those stories about when blended families come together and you hear that the dad has adopted them. It's a difficult thing because the kid is first. The kid always goes to "You're not my dad," and then all of a sudden it's like, "Can I call you dad?" So that
I'll tell you what. You know what, Reese? It was not in our case. I was very lucky. I am very cognizant that most cases in families like this are very difficult, and they have that issue in particular, but not us.
Yeah.
Not even close. Not even a little bit.
That's
great. I was raised by a stepdad, also Mexican.
Yeah.
And it was great. Never treated us any differently. My stepdaughters, on the other hand.
Well, I will tell you this. You know what? When you live in a family day to day and over, and that person becomes sort of a fabric of your life,
It's
like every part,
consistency.
and that consistency, it's like there's no daylight between you. So I think it's, even though it's not necessary, I'm glad that you did it anyway, just to sort of, because it gives confidence to that child. It's like, I want you so bad, I'm going to make it legal. You know what I mean?
Let's put it that way. Yeah, you know what? That's very true. I don't like to say, look, I only put it that way because people start doing the math. They say, oh, 37 minus 23.
Right.
How do you
Mind
get to
business.
That I met him when he was 3 years old. I've been with him since he was 3. He's my son. Period.
Right. There you go.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know what? Actually, it's very interesting because you would think there's so many ways a relationship like ours could be strained. And ever since I threw my hat in the ring for U.S. House in the 2nd District, I've been dragging both of them to all these RTC meetings. Still no problem.
Hey, get his contact info.
Yeah, I'm going to do
him.
that right now, George. Yeah. I'll take care of getting in contact with you after the fact, man. And thank you, man. I appreciate you sharing that story, man. And thank you for listening to the show.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cool, thank
All
you.
right, have a good one, George. Not bad. That's actually pretty good. I would have adopted the boy if necessary. I hope you know that.
No,
You want him around me 24/7.
I do. I think you are a far superior male role model. You're not emotional. You're not driven by your hurt feelings. You take your time. If you hate something, you investigate it so you can make sure you thoroughly hate with complete and absolute knowledge of the hate.
I listen to all the songs and the whole album. That's what, like, if I'm going to hate it, I know every word.
You hate every song I listen to. But no, I like your perspective, and I think when the boy is around you, he behaves very differently. I think he feels more confident and comfortable in himself as a young man.
So let me speak. Speaking of that, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit. There's a very important point that you made in that is that when the boy is here, you've noticed it, and I think I pointed it out to you before he left. Is that he immediately engages with me, not just in conversation, but in
debate. It is. I think that my kids see you as a. In my mind, it's like this hanging dummy, right? Like the punching bag, but like it's a person, right? And like they see you stand there, like it's like Mortal Kombat, They're fight. And it's like each of them sees you and they have to
engage me with some
and it's always combative from their perspective. And I look at my poor baby boy. I love him so much. And I'm just like, oh, sweetie, you're so dumb. I love you. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But you don't treat him that way.
No.
You engage and and that's the beauty of having a stepfather come into his life so much later is you are a parental, but you're not his parent. So the way that he engages with you is very different from the way he engages with his father and I.
Mm-hmm.
And that affords him a level of comfort where he can come to you with things that he doesn't come to me with.
Right. I need him to challenge. See, and I know that when you have his father's pretty strict with him. And I respect that, and I know the reason why is because, again, there's a discipline there, if you will. Even if it's
a guy thing.
Yeah, it's a guy thing. But because of my role, I get an opportunity to debate him, to give him an opportunity to be the adult he thinks he already is.
Right.
And if he's dealing with an adult who says, I can deal with the outburst, I can deal with the emotional stuff, but when I tell him, look, if we're going to have this conversation, you can't get emotional. If you hear things you don't like, there is no crying in baseball. You are going to have to deal with what I say and how I say it and formulate a retort, and that's going to be the end of it. But if you're going to get emotional and start waving the hands and start stomping around, we're never going to get anywhere.
Right.
This is not about you changing my mind or me changing yours. It's about you standing for your position
Right.
and being able to articulate it in a way that makes me go, didn't see it that way.
Right.
I want you to look at that being your challenge, not I'm wrong and you're right.
Right.
That you make me look at your perspective
Critical
at least.
thinking.
Exactly. For me
Right.
to be, okay, good point. Let's engage there.
Right. I think one thing that's really bothersome is the overt, emotionality and the
Right.
hand. That is, I love my baby boy. I really do. That is a feminine behavior.
Mhm.
That is not how men engage. And unfortunately, I was his primary caregiver for a span of a couple of years. And his dad was raised by a single mother. So I think that a lot of that female energy and that
matriarchy.
if I scream over you, then I'm winning. And that is a huge disservice to my son, which is part of the reason why I would like for him to spend more time with you, because, you were on the streets as a teenager. Like, you had no choice. You had to learn how to be a man. And who you learned that from was a conglomeration of other men within the neighborhood. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't the best of men.
Nope.
And they weren't the worst of men, but they were men, varied men in your community.
Oh,
that you
hell,
learned.
they were misogynist and crude and crass. They were military guys. I spent a lot of time in VFWs.
Did you really?
Grown. Oh, yeah, man. I talk about Dutch.
Okay.
Dutch is a VFW guy.
I didn't know
We
that.
got-
But-
man, we got it.
but
I didn't
this
realize it. We got to go to weather. It was like heartbreak right now.
But this is why the point is to be around you. Sorry.
Exactly. Let's get to weather and traffic. And Mark Christopher's out. We got Tom O'Hanlon filling in the BPS Traffic Center.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
Okay, so I'm going to switch to what had happened was intro. It's been on my mind for the last couple of days. I'm just going to switch it up next week. And we've got to make so many arrangements for changes. By the way, for those of you who need to know, what happened was we began the show talking about whether or not Mamdani's win in New York could be good for Connecticut. I really do believe that. I do. You have to go back and check out the show. If you go to download the Odyssey app or go to WTIC.com to listen to the opening monologue. We also had actress Larissa Dali on the program. Rozan and I spoke to her, talked about her career, and had some fun with her. She actually just followed me on Instagram.
Nice.
That was kind of her. And I promise I will not check out her photos.
I don't care.
You really don't?
No, why would I care? I'm a real breathing person. You actually have a chance here. I'm just saying, you got a shot over here.
You are cold.
I'm honest.
How mean are you?
I'm just being honest.
I love the fact that you're not a jealous woman.
Only if the woman is like smarter than me and able to carry on a conversation with you. That's when I'm threatened, and you know that. Fredericksburg.
Yeah, I knew what you were
Okay.
talking about. You were talking about the girl that I was having a conversation with about
music and politics.
It was just music.
And I felt so insecure. I was like, oh my God, he's going to leave me for a smarter woman.
By the way, folks, it was very early in our relationship.
Yeah.
It was. I've never, and I got jealous very early in our relationship when you were talking to some guy. I never thought that you would actually be jealous of
I
somebody
wasn't
else.
jealous. I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. Never.
Okay. Anyway.
I'm a strong black woman. I'm secure and confident in who I am.
Also, we talked about the Democratic Socialists of America, New York Working Families Party, Communist
Colette
Party.
wants to know the name of the MLK documentary.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was in the middle of a thought here. I'll just tell you in a second. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. The Democrat Socialists of America, the New York Working Families Party, Communist Party USA, and the Freedom Socialist Party. They are some of the folks that are sponsoring tomorrow's protest, the No Kings protest. So we talked about that a little bit as well. Also, Colette, you said, wanted to know about the documentary. It's called the MLK Project, and it is run or helmed and produced and directed by a guy by the name of Chad O. Jackson. Look him up. Chad O. Jackson. There's plenty of videos out there talking about Martin Luther King Jr., so check that out. But anyway, that's what had happened was, when we come back, I'll talk a little bit about this thing with Charlamagne the God, what he said about the Democrat Party. Also, and I must not forget this, because it was really, really relevant, the Don Lemon story. about what Don Lemon told Democrats to do to fight back against ICE. You're not going to believe it if you haven't heard it. Stand by for that. Mark Christopher's out, so we got Tom O'Hanlon, who's filling in the BPS Traffic Center. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We weren't even ready for that. Here we are. We are back, about to get up out of here. Thank you, Doug. Doug showing some love to us both. I love, this is, for me, like I said, Rozan, I love the fact that we do this every Friday. Because we can talk about anything and everything under the sun, and it isn't,
scripted or pre-planned. Like, this is real. Like,
Yeah.
I've spent the last, 6 hours in my head just tearing you apart. And then I get here and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It is on. And I unleashed, and then we go on break, and you hug me, and you apologize. And I'm like, what? Is this a bit? And you're like, no, this is real. Like, this is, I think it's beneficial. It's helpful for us to have this third party. I think it's more than a third party, but, other people listening, and it's nice to have a little validation.
Let me say this, because I know there's a lot of this that you don't understand as far as what my perspective is on this, is that, I grew up in the era of Howard Stern. I also grew up in the era of Rush Limbaugh. I've watched some of the greats do this, Bob Grant. The list goes on and on. Scott Shannon, you know who my heroes are, who are in this business. And I've seen them touch on fabrics or facets or parts of their life and then brought that. And I know what that's done to their relationships in some way. Some of them are very closed off. Some of them are very, reclusive, or they're people that they're involved with are very private. In that regard. And here I am talking about things from a point of view with, I use my experiences in life, the people that I engage with, to convey a message about topics and stories every day. That I'm not just this guy who's on here talking about the issues from my perch and saying, this is the way you should do it.
No, we're actively,
Right.
you are actively engaged.
Exactly.
And
I'm using those experiences and saying, why isn't anyone thinking about this, that, and the third? You've got these problems. Everybody in the world sort of deals with whatever the problem is or whatever the issue is from their own perspective, how it affects their pocketbooks and things like that. So being married to you, the one thing that I didn't do in any of my other relationships, because they were afraid to have those conversations, like, what do I say? Like, how would I possibly? They were very reticent to do that. What I wanted to do in the beginning is always make sure that you were a part of that, because then you didn't feel isolated from it. And if I do say so myself, I think that there's a little bit of this sort of bug in you already.
Well, my Instagram is literally, I want to be famous, but I'm lazy. Right? Because you talked earlier about how much work goes into this. There is a lot of work that goes into this, like 12 hours a day in here, and then even in bed prepping for tomorrow. Like, this requires a lot of work. I would love to be famous, but it sounds like a lot of work.
It is. But I dedicate that. But I don't want to. I dedicate that just to the audience because, again, I really do respect them. In order for them to respect me, I've got to put that kind of work in. But with that, there is a toll. And a lot of people don't see that. So I don't want everybody ever waking up one day and just going, oh, Reese and Rozan going through a divorce. What happened? Yeah, where did this come from?
You guys are in on the ground level.
Right.
No, I think part of what makes you and I work is that I've described it before. You're an anchor and I'm a balloon, right? Like, you're that, if you ever see those balloons at a party that they put on the table, it's on a weight.
Yeah.
And that's you for me. You are the anchor. I'm the balloon. Wherever the wind blows, I'm going, oh, look, that's pretty over there. Look, a butterfly. I want that. That's me. I totally get it. You are an anchor. You are steadfast. You are firm. You don't budge. And that's incredible, and it's important for me. There's a lot about that I admire, that I really want to take advantage of. And that requires me to appreciate and understand what you're doing and why, even if it hurts my feelings. I do have to put boundaries up, though, because I love you and I value you and I see what you're trying to build and I believe in it so fervently. Words are hard today. I believe in it so fervently that I want to be a part of it. In order to be a part of it, I need to remind you that I'm still here.
But I want you to understand that in having this discussion, and again, not a bit, that is a part of what I've always done in this medium.
Keep the two lives separate.
Keep the two lives separate. I used to do that. But in this particular case, what's going on here is helpful. This is not just a news program. This is not just a talk show. There's something bigger that's happening, because when we're involving ourselves, when we get to Connecticut, we are going to be involving ourselves in the lives of people in Connecticut and getting them results. That means we are coming from it from somebody who is invested, who has skin in the game, not somebody who's just coming on a perch and just saying, this is wrong, nuts, it needs to be stopped. No, we're going to be on the ground,
right,
dealing with these issues and talking to the people who can make change to get them the change that they want, making lives better.
Right.
And while all of that is happening, there is a human element here. We are not robots. We are not just people. We're not celebrities either. We are public servants. And
Right.
that's what my role is. And you will play a huge part of that, because when I need, I may be
I'll
the
be
anchor.
going to the 18 car washes, getting the car washed.
And getting that information. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we'll be doing. So, that's what it is. And people need to know us and know us in a real way. It cannot be this, we're at arm's length, so to speak.
We're some sort of like something you observe through glass at a museum.
Exactly.
We're real people. We
Exactly.
struggle. We have great times. We have.
And there are other people who are going through that too, as we've already learned. And people is like, thank you for being that vulnerable and telling people that stuff, because again, that's what I said. What we do here is a public service.
Yeah.
I do believe that. And not that people have been doing it wrong, it's just that people have been hesitant to do it. And I have no hesitation in that, because I really understand this medium and I know the effect that it can have on lives.
And I will follow your lead.
I appreciate
I'm getting better at that.
Let's get Dave in here real quick. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, how are you? This won't take very long. Yesterday's USA Today, there was this death notice. Miss Major, transgender activist, dies at 78. Half the page, on page 3, it was a bigger notice than Diane Keaton got.
Wow.
And then right under it, the other half of the page, it was a story about the No Kings.
Yeah.
The rallies this weekend. One of the headers on the paragraph said, security concerns amid peaceful rally. Now, this is a story that hasn't happened yet. It's a prospective story. Doesn't that remind you of the stories with the only a little bit of violence at the George Floyd?
Right.
How do they know they're going to be peaceful? And on the marriage thing, I want to add this. Unanticipated acts of love really wash away a lot of sins. For my wife, I think maybe the one she liked the best, when it was stormy or really cold, to go out an hour before she had to leave for work and scrape the ice off the windshields and preheat the car and leave a little note that,
sounds like you.
Wished her well on the long day. And you say, we do have a garage, but if you drive home the night before with those brown, icy, slushy things, you don't want that dragged into the garage to melt with the salt and the dirt. And so sometimes the car would be left outside. Nowadays, people have electric seats. Maybe the act wouldn't be so loving as it was, back in the day.
Yeah.
But man, you get up an hour early and get the car all ready to go, nice and warm with the scraped off windshield. Sometimes that goes a long way to make up for your deficits. That's my suggestion.
And you are 100% right. And you know what? That's what I live by. Go ahead.
2 years ago, there was Christmas lights that you didn't buy to put on the porch of the railing. Make sure you do that to make your wife happy this year. Put the lights up early.
Dave, why do you remember that? That was so long ago. Why do you remember that?
It's the little stuff that sticks.
It's the little things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave
He's right.
remembers that I didn't want to put up lights in Christmas
I remember,
2 years ago.
And you took those lights and you say, you threw them up, and it looked like some half-blind, one-armed child, like duct taped them to the banister, and I was like, oh, yeah, he did it.
I took a picture of it, and people said it looked glorious. For the half-behind job it was, it looked glorious.
I hate to say this to you, but sometimes people just say things to say things. It looked like a one-eyed, one-armed, one-legged person.
It was just a stream of lights.
I know, and that's on this big, huge house, and you put this little thing on the banister, and I'm going, wow, we look festive.
I'm so glad we're not going to be here for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we'll be in a hotel.
Yeah, I also am thankful they're not going to be here for Halloween, when the beggars come out.
You know what?
That's
Halloween's my favorite.
They're beggars.
It's my
That's what
favorite.
they are.
Well,
That's
then
all it is.
you can stay in your office all Halloween next year,
Yeah.
and I will. Well, you're gonna have to help me decorate, but
That's a bunch of beggars.
I don't like giving out candy.
What did I
either.
call them? I said a bunch of homeless people who only ask for the food that will give them cavities. That's what they are.
Nothing
Beggars.
of value.
Nothing of value. Let's take Lori. Hey, what's going on, Lori? Always calls on Friday.
Well, hello, sir and madam.
Hello.
I first of all, Rozan, I appreciated your whole thing about what are the things that kind of make you a little insecure. Listen, girl, Jesus gave me singleness as a gift. I am good. So no worries here on any occasion whatsoever.
Okay, don't give her any ideas,
also-
Lori. What the hell is that about?
I enjoyed my singledom too. It was great. You were not supposed to happen, but go ahead, Lori. I digress.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, my ex-husband made me realize that it wasn't so bad being single, and maybe I needed to appreciate a little bit more. So here I am. But all that to say, I was thinking, because I'm doing some cleaning. Fridays are my cleaning day. And Rozan, I wanted to check in and see how things were going in terms of Bible study and what was going on with your walk with Jesus and all of that. We haven't heard a lot about that, and so I just wanted to check in.
Yeah, so I've watched Chosen. I watched the entire thing, and I'm like, I thought there were 7 seasons. There's only 5, and so now I'm at the point where, well, I don't want to give it away for those who haven't seen it, but completely immersed in the life of Jesus and his walk with the disciples and each of the followers. I'm also watching David.
Yes, both of them are awesome shows.
Yeah, I love it, and I go to sleep now listening to Bible stories. I haven't really been able to sit down and study the Bible just because I am the only one packing and cleaning and moving appliances
That's
and scrubbing
changes
behind,
this weekend.
Refrigerators and ovens and disinfecting. Like, I'm the only one doing it right now, so it's been a little.
I got you. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Thank you, Lori. I feel horrible now. Thanks, Lori. I appreciate
Well,
you.
you should.
You're welcome. Listen, that's going to be my job apparently moving forward. I got it. I got
Thank
it.
you.
But
Let's go.
I like the Chosen. That's awesome.
Yeah, Chosen's great.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. Let's take one more before we get out of here. Hello, Natalie.
Hi, Reese. I had to call in today.
Yes.
I heard you guys earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, I would say this is from someone who's been married for 31 years.
Okay.
With the same man for 35.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I understand absolutely what Rozan is saying, but she just reminded me what I told my girl this weekend. If you're dating a guy and whatever you don't like about him, it's going to multiply by 10 when you marry them.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and what you do with that is when you get upset or you feel neglected, you think about the good things about that man. That's
Absolutely.
Because it's a situation. It's not going to last. He comes out of it. And with Reese's line of work, he has to be on it. Things
Absolutely.
happen so fast, and it takes a lot to be prepared. And I think it's a little, I should say unrealistic, for the lack of another word, for him to shut down at 11. He can do that by an alarm, but then he will be there still thinking of what he's missing. His mind is still heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's absolutely yes. A mealtime, put the phone down. Let's say 11 is, and it may seem a little automated, but this is the life we live in. 11, yeah, you can have intimacy. And then if he needs to, he may need to be on it because you have breaking news. And with his work, he has to be prepared.
Right. No, I completely understand. It's been 5 years almost together now, and like I said, he hasn't dusted a thing, he hasn't swept a thing, he hasn't mopped a thing, And when I look at him and say, I haven't seen you, like we're in the same house and I haven't seen you for 14 hours today, please put the phone away. There's nothing breaking. Please be my husband. And he can't do that. It makes me want to smother him with a pillow.
Natalie, I promise.
He loves you.
He does.
Love you any less. That's him. That's Reese.
Natalie, I've got to go with that, but I thank you so much for defending me a little bit.
Right.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. You too,
Thank
Natalie,
you.
as well. Okay. Thank you, dear. All right. We got to get up out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Rozan on the radio. Say goodnight, Rozan.
Night, Rozan.
You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here on Monday. Don't forget to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Check out the Substack. New Substack this Sunday. It will not be about my marriage. I promise you. All right? I love you guys. Be good to each other. Tom O'Hanlon's getting you home in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Well, here comes trouble.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Side in Hartford. It's
Another
between
week
exits
down.
50 and
These things are
48.
going by too
Ascend-
fast, damn it.
They go by fast, man.
I know.
Especially when
Hartford
you're
eastbound
packing.
at 84. Still some
And
traffic.
cleaning.
There.
Yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah,
Getting
you go
better.
unpack
Route
and I'll
2
go
has
pack.
some lingering delays.
Well, I'm not doing a lot of the unpacking. I did all the moving.
Oh,
Traffic
that's
heading
right.
down through North
What were
Meadows.
you gonna ask,
As
Lenny?
you get below
Did you help with
291,
the
we're in pretty
packing
good shape.
and the
Then you see
cleaning of
brake
the
lights.
old place?
Moving on route.
I didn't help with the packing. I filled up one dumpster, and I'm filling up another one this weekend of all our trash that's in that building. So I'm not doing the cleaning too.
Wow.
Good move.
Brought
All
to you
right.
by
See you
NJR
manana.
Insurance
On
Group.
Monday. Sorry, really Monday.
Monday, enjoy your weekend. Row to row.
You too.
You know.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful week with the show. Mark, thank you. Mark says go Army, Rozan. And we love you guys, of course. And thank you for indulging us as we, deal with our
Work through
personal
our
stuff.
issues. This is our marriage counseling.
It's actually for me. I think it's cathartic. I don't know about you.
I
but
agree.
enjoy it.
You are much more receptive on this platform, because in the bedroom this morning you said, nope, absolutely not, drawing a line, I'm not giving that anymore, and then we get here and you're like, all right, well, maybe I was a little wrong.
Well, like people are gonna. And the only reason why I hashed that out, or let you hash it out, because I wanted people to see
What a pain in the ass you are. And what a saint I am. I'm kidding, I'm not a saint.
No, I mean you're more of a saint than you are a sinner in this regard.
On
That's
this particular
Yeah,
topic.
exactly.
Well, thank you.
All right, folks, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy. Thank you for indulging me, indulging Rozan, and, of course, watching the show. We love you. We will see you manana. Be good to each other.